I forget the exact words he used, but basically he said he didn't see no reason for it because they seem to be operating within the confines of the law at anything he's ever seen. So moron Mike Johnson is either blind, stupid, or lying. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The disclaimer is down in the description box. Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased logical conclusions. This is an educational and entertainment purposes only podcast, and our disclaimer is down in the description box. Today, we're here to talk about ICE, and there's a lot to talk about. The Department of Justice, Mike Johnson wanting to ignore court orders for body cams on federal agents and so on. But before we do that, I'm going to allow my co-host, the distinguished and honorable Dion Powell, to introduce himself. Dion?
Hi, family. I'm District Leader Dion Powell, strategist, political consultant, and overall community leader here in the Bronx, New York, and beyond. So I keep telling people all the time that we are the media, and now so are you. So hopefully you'll hear what we have to say and try to parrot it accordingly.
Well, I guess that means we can just jump right in. And this is a big one. So in my notes I had Adelita Grahava's name here. And Mike Johnson said that she should bring back her staff. I should have mentioned that. Even though there was a government shutdown. ICE destroying evidence proving that ICE is attacking citizens and not for self-defense. Ms. Martinez had her car rammed and shots fired into it. The Department of Justice claimed she rammed them and showed a gun. Videos show otherwise. And there's been court orders for ICE agents to wear body cams and unmask. Mike Johnson wants to ignore the court orders for the federal agents, and he says he has not seen any overstepping out of the bounds. I forget the exact words he used, but basically he said he didn't see no reason for it because they seem to be operating within the confines of the law at anything he's ever seen. So moron Mike Johnson is either blind, stupid, or lying.
Leo, just because there are a few isolated incidents that are played on loop on social media, Mike Johnson, the speaker, as in its totality of the immigration enforcement, he doesn't really see this as a big issue.
That's because he's a moron. I thought I said that. My apologies. Moron Mike Johnson.
Not really, because again, with the big, beautiful bill getting past July 4th on time, like the president wanted, it shows real leadership that Mike Johnson has been doing of late. So
that's not what happened. What happened was Donald Trump went and twisted everybody's arm. They voted against the bill. Donald Trump went in the room with them. 24 hours later, they changed their vote. Mike Johnson had nothing to do with it. But I digress. When I was growing up, I grew up in Southside Queens, New York. Both my parents were law enforcement.
Oh,
and yes, my mother was actually the first Black 911 supervisor in the history of New York City.
Nice.
When I grew up, what my mother told me to do, if the police pulled me over, was ask for their name and badge number. First thing you do. Be polite, keep your hands on the steering wheel, ask for name and badge number. This let the cops know that I knew who they were and offered me a level of protection. Be polite, be courteous. Don't, yo, what's your name, man? Yo, later for this. Don't do none of that. That's crazy. That will antagonize a police officer. But hello, officer. Is there something wrong? May I look inside your car? No. May I have your name and badge number? Like, I've actually never had to do that. I've always had pretty good rapport with police when they pulled me over. And I've been pulled over a few times. I'm Black. So I got pulled over one time, like 5 times in a 2-block radius. It was like, yo, your car fit the description. Real talk. And I was coming from a police officer barbecue. True story. It was my godmother. She works with my mother.
Did you show your?
And it was nothing. It was like 85% of the people participating there were police officers. And so every she worked Brooklyn. Really, I lived in Queens. She worked for the Brooklyn department. Everybody, everybody there knew who my godmother was. I got pulled over 5 times in a 2 block radius. I start the car, I go a couple inches, I get pulled over again. So they really was looking for somebody I would believe. And I told them where I was coming from. But that's outside of the bounds of this conversation. That's just to say, I know a little bit about law enforcement, a little bit. You know, both my parents are cops. Well, not cops, but law enforcement, right? So at that time, you asked for a name and badge number, and that, was your protection. Now you got masked men hopping out of vehicles, Grand Theft Auto style with masks on, full automatics, smashing in car windshields, dragging people out on a consistent basis. This is not an exception to the rule. This is what's happening on a consistent basis. They do not ask for ID or nothing. They see what you look like. They use force to drag you in. And even if it was a couple of isolated incidences, here's how the law should work did work until Donald Trump got there. The courts look and say, well, this incident is horrendous. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to pass a law making sure that incidents like this don't happen again. Mm-hmm. And that law will apply to everybody. So no more cops can do that. Everybody will wear body cams because that's how the law worked until Donald Trump got into office. Now what is happening is the courts are saying to do this, and they're like, man, I ain't see. Moron Mike is like, I ain't see nothing, man. You know what? We don't have to. Federal agents don't need to show their face or present ID. They can just yoke people off the streets. What are you talking about? This is America. And that sounds like a police state where the police can just run up and yoke you out. They're doing it to citizens, not just illegal immigrants. 170 citizens have gone through this. So this is not an isolated incident when over 100 people have gone through this. Something should be done. What do you say to that, Dion?
Well, again, after No King's Day on Saturday and lack of Black participation, I don't think the civil rights component of this is going to be as promoted as people need it to be. Now,
You're right. It looks like your divide and conquer tactics have been effective. Like, so the immigrants are fighting their battle. The blacks are fighting their battle where 450,000 black women have lost their jobs. So we're fighting our battle. The immigrants fighting their battle against the police. The LGBTQ communities fighting their battle. They divided us up and they're attacking us separately. The tactics have worked.
Well, again, when it came to immigration policy, the public at large agreed with the president to reelect him. They may not agree with the enforcement of it, but it is what it is.
What it is a police state with an authoritarian regime.
Here comes the
authoritarian. Yeah, all right, so I'll make it real simple.
That turns people off, Leo. Click.
That's true. I'll turn some people off. You're right. It does turn people off. But this is a white supremacist regime. Listen, they're attacking gay people. They're attacking black people. We're losing our jobs. We can't find work. Our unemployment rate is double what our white counterparts are. They're attacking people because they look Spanish. They are attacking everybody of color. This is a white supremacist regime. That's without question. Look at the oligarchs that Trump surrounds himself with. There's not a black face to be seen when he's around.
And once again, there's nothing wrong with that because things are getting done. We got plenty of black faces in Chicago administration of the mayor's office, and that city is being destroyed. Chicago mayor. Just because there's a black face in that place doesn't mean it's a good thing. So
that was it right there. That was the entire lesson. I say that there's not a black face around, and Dion says there's nothing wrong with that. Look what happens when black people are in charge. And that is he sounds like a MAGA he sounds like one of the young Republicans from upstate.
Oh God.
He sounds like one of them. That's what you sound like. You sound like, yo, there don't need to be no blacks. Why you need blacks? That's what it sounds like. That's what you said. That's what you said.
Because the blacks we got aren't helping us at all. Ain't that right, Congressional Black Caucus? So you see, is blacks are waking up. We're no longer going to be pawns in the grand scheme of political theater to be called upon to rally, riff, and fight for other people's rights, and we have nothing to show for it. So that's why on No King's Day there weren't many blacks, maybe brown, but not many blacks involved with that.
So I do believe the way Malcolm X, my favorite speaker of all time, put it was we have the House Negro and we have the Field Negro. The House Negro wants to see make sure that if the house is burning, the House Negro is like, Massa, our house is burning. The Field Negro is hoping for a wind. And that's a quote from my favorite speaker of all time, because that's what it is. And he said, we still got the same thing today. And that was 70 years ago. And I haven't seen a change. I haven't seen a change in all that time. I think if Malcolm X was alive right now,
They'd cancel him.
that's true. They would, because the MAGA has the narrative, and the narrative is black people can't be in charge. Anyway, so what if the black people, we've had the best kingdoms in the history of the world? None of that matters. So what if this was our country and it was taken over? None of that matters. We don't know what we're doing. That is the narrative that they had when they came here and invaded. Oh my gosh, they're pagans. They don't know how to govern. We gotta. They're. What was the word they used? We're not animals, but it's the same thing. We don't know what we're doing. We need to be shown and led. It's the same narrative. Nothing has changed with white supremacist mindsets. It's the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. But, oh, by the way, if you enjoy the content, like, share, subscribe. We have a new members only area where we give exclusive content, where you can get the content first before it drops on the channel. So join our membership, become part of the critical thinking community. Dion, did you want to say anything before?
Yes. Remember, family, this is a think tank. Think critically. And all the guilt and shaming of black people who don't think the same as other black people aren't going to make those black people come back to the same group, the collective think. We're not a monolith, but we are the media, and now so are you.
Oh, I'm not trying to guilt or shame anybody. I'm just laying the facts out as I see it. I'm not trying to sway nobody's opinion. When somebody has a deep mindset, trying to sway their opinion using facts is not going to work when they're emotionally involved with something. So I'm not trying to sway anybody. I'm just presenting facts. So if you're offended, I apologize. It wasn't meant to offend you. That's just the way. That's just the facts. I literally just quoted Malcolm X, said what's going on today, said what's going on in the country robbed, and those are just the facts. Malcolm X really is my favorite speaker. Like that dude is like. That dude is a man. He was the man. He was the man. I don't want to get into all of that. The portrayal of him by Spike Lee was okay, but it didn't really talk about what he really didn't said. That man was amazing. I'm a fan. And I'm not a fan of many people in history, but I'm a Malcolm X fan. But so I quote him because the things he said were powerful to me. And he gives me something to aspire to. And in order to be able to aspire to it, it means I gotta speak truth. I'm not gonna be Muslim. I ain't gonna walk around with no bean pies. I ain't doing that. But his ideologies, I can get behind. So I don't mean no offense to anybody. If you're watching it and you're offended, I'm sincerely apologize. It's not meant to be offensive. I'm not trying to sway nobody. You're not going to sway you. You can't use logic to sway somebody that's emotionally set on something. I learned this in sales. If you want to sell something to somebody, you sell it to them using emotions. You don't tell somebody, the car moves at 60 miles per second. It can climb mountains. You don't tell them the facts about the car. What you tell them is, yo, pull up in this. Look how people is gonna feel about you. You gonna pull up in this, and the girl's head's gonna be swinging. You gonna get them. Look at this car. You imagine yourself in this car. You're gonna be lit. You sell it to them in an emotional base. You don't tell facts. Facts don't sell. Emotion sells. That's sales 101. So I'm not sitting here trying to convince nobody of nothing by saying the facts. I'm saying the facts. The emotional sway will come eventually. But it's not time for that. We're not in a state where we can do that. Right now, we're in a state of emergency. So I'm stating the facts and let those that have eyes see and rally around words of wisdom. That's my perspective on it. Anyway, Dion, anything else?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, this is Leon Dion signing out.